Wow, doesn't that bring back some memories? Prince, greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. We are guided by spirit if we choose. Trigger warning, the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. Disclaimer, all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. Prince. He has been pinging on me, I would probably say about a month or two ago or so, around about there-ish. The main ping for me was the night of his passing, or let's put it this way, because I believe it may have been on a different time, but we're going to find that out. The news that he was found in an elevator. Okay. So in this episode, I'm going to look at his date of birth and a 369. And then I've got the days set out. I haven't unpacked them yet. As much as I wanted to, I wanted the experience to include reactions revealing the numbers, because I'm feeling a lot of energy around. Before we get into those dates, and then once we've done those dates to determine what happened and when, we will do a 369 as well. It's going to be a long stay. We will kickstart the sequence with the press release of the chemical test post the situation as an indication of temperature, what has been said, who's saying it, how it's been said, etc., through numbers. And of course, any psychic or messaging that may come through. And then while doing some research, today is the first day I'm looking at it. So it is October the 30th, 2024, 1:30 p.m. Central African Time. And tradition, let's do this. Oops, beg your pardon, not that. I'll have to cut that. Let's do this. I'm going to do a screen grab. I'm always transparent with my metadata. You can see it there, right? I'm going to look at, as mentioned, the chemical test, and then while reading, there's like a specific date, can you believe it, when they announced publicly that the case technically is closed. There's no further investigation, no other suspects, blah, blah, fish cakes, right? There is, I will say, a part of me that does not want to know everything. You know, we live in this fantasy music industry, Hollywood bubble sometimes, where the propaganda is so intense that musicians become our idols. So let's have a look. Prince, and I'm getting Jimi Hendrix pinging on me here. All right. Prince, do we need to go into his full real names? Let's keep with the artist vibe. I don't get personal with people's date of births on this level on YouTube. All right. June 7 brings the 6 and 7. Now, immediately the burning question I was getting myself, because there is the addiction issue, drug issue. I will say where I see it, because it is public knowledge. I'm not reinventing anything per se. Caution advised. So June 6, now not for everyone, there's combinations, but 6 technically is the addiction number. And believe me, I'm a big Prince fan. We will deal with this bullshit first, and then we'll go deeper. The artist he is and will always be with his supersonic nines and a lot of pound numbers. But let's have a look here. 7, the artist. 13-4 gives him the propensity to write music. 13-4. Very good number. Interesting from a person point of view, considering how famous, let's say at his peak and beyond, because 13-4s are also like, I won't say hermits, but enjoy their private space. So I would imagine, obviously in the beginning it's the best thing ever, I'm living my dream, but there will come a point, and I don't know his full history, I think the public life would have bugged him at times, because 4s are very, I want to use the word secretive, but I'd rather use the word personal. 4s are personal people. So it's almost like what happens in their home is for themselves and a very select few as well. As much as the showman he is, or was rather, he is the, I won't say necessarily homebody, but it's more about personal space. Okay. Now, born 1958, impressive, is the 23-5, which speaks about, on one hand, we can say this was Prince's crossover number. In other words, for African American and white consumers, audiences, fans. So creating communities, but greater communities and international with the 5. Everyone knows Prince. That lived between when he started performing and beyond. So here's his musical genius numbers here. Beautiful 9s, the higher self, the best he can ever be. And we're all human at the end of the day as well. In the +3, 16-7 is the performer, the musician. He is the musician on stage. Now, here's interesting, because this is about a person. On one hand, the 3 brings in the feminine elements, but on one hand, in terms of running his business and his identity, and 3 speaks about his look, his first appearances, the way he presents himself to the world, is he was, we can agree, fully in control of that. And if he had to dress all the artists, he'd be a well-known designer, one would say. So, of course, his lyrics, 13-4, his music, it's more the lyrics, 13-4. The bringing in the lyrics and the band and the music sits here, the 36-9, 27-9, 18-9. 36-9 in his date of birth, so 3 collective, 6 band members, the band. So in his case, we can say band, orchestra, whatever his ensemble was, brings out the 9. And 7 is the musician. The 8 here is the singer and performer, 8. 8, performance, vocal, singing, communication. Now, in his +6, the lyrics 13-4, 1-9-10-1. He was also here, like Bob Marley, a message for the world. (19-10-1) we can say is the idea 9, and that's what he was aiming for, the 9. Here we have 19-10-1. His ideas, thoughts, songs, music becomes transactional. Manufacture albums in his day, at his peak, back in the day, albums, CDs, whatever, discs. Now digital, big money. But it's also planting that idea of Prince. I mean, I was while doing some of the prep work, I was listening to all of Prince's music again. Really amazing. And we note in his +6, he has a 33-6 power number. This guy was a jack-in-the-box. Energy for days. Power number 33-6 is the equivalent of a power station. Now, unfortunately, we see this dreaded mother here, 42-6. This is where, unfortunately, we find the destructive behavior. And it brings around things like addiction. I mean, with all these 6s, does speak about addiction. Not necessarily if you got 6s, no. Here, there's combination of numbers. 5 plays a role. 30 outcome 3 plays a role. 22-4 can also play a role. So there's a combination of numbers. And now that we know the outcome, it's not to say, and of course we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, but I'm just saying, here is the number that gives him the propensity, 42-6, and the 6s in general, addictive behavior. But that's being human, right? That's part of who his disposition was in life. Whether it was extreme or minimal, who gives a shit, right? The real question is, did something go wrong, or was there foul play around his passing? And we'll have a look at that. Everyone can have whatever in moderation, provided it doesn't include children, underage kids, or whatever. So, and this 45 years, there's the 4, his lyrics, the music. Now, how do we translate that into some kind of band, instruments? How do we, I mean, I'm not a musician, but how do we, who gets what parts of the song, etc.? Working out the song, working out the track, ensemble. And of course, we know he loved his big bands as well. So, ultimate genius here, again, we see in his date of birth. Like all the greats. Alright, so let's get into the main chart here now and see what the numbers say. So, I just want to get a temperature read with when they released the first press release. Let's have a look here. Oops. So we've got an 8. So obviously this is a 9 year. 17, 8, lots of 8s around. Now we're going to use this as IDs, right? So when we draw out the bigger line of numbers, we'll see if there's any corresponding matches. Yeah, I must bring in, so we got 16, 7. I was just about to say we need to bring in Prince's numbers. Of course, the 9s are around. I'm going to leave his date of birth up here. The X year is what I received in spirit, I believe, from Prince himself. I think been a little bit fun because we know him as Prince or the artist or symbol, and then he gave me that. Alright, so let's just see here. And it's not for that communication platform. Prince is just saying it's over. Alright, so 3. So we got double 9 conflicts here. This is why I wanted to share this with you. To get the experience going, we have a double 9. Ooh, hold on. We got 2 issues here. We got a 9 plus 9 portal and a portal sequence, yes. So there's issues here. There's issues here. You know when they say it's too perfect to be true? It's too perfect to be true. So not only do we have a 9-9 conflict, so that's artist conflict here, huh? That's an artist conflict. I'm not familiar with if he had a current contract or what the situation was. He was busy on I read in text, I'm just recalling, he was on a piano and mic tour, only piano and mic tour, something to that effect. We'll have a look at that. So yeah, we got the double 9. So we've got a portal sequence here. Okay. Everything is planned to the T. Nothing is left for chance, but visible to the eye. Alright, let's see what these monsters are getting up to here. So on the actual day so I'm doing a 72 scan, beg your pardon if you're new to the channel. I'm doing a 72-hour scan over the day. So day before, day after, to get a read. Alright. Yeah, you see what's happening, that we're getting these double numbers is because of the 9 creates the loop. Loopity loop loop. Alright, so obviously we have the presence of 6 around. 16-7, if we look at it from a optic of the music industry, 16-7 can speak about sacrifice or assassination. 16-7. The case closed, I can already see here. 19 is transactional. Let's leave that one for now. I think this is kind of clean, if you know what I mean. This has happened within the range of the crime, so within 2 months. Whereas the Penguin people and the MTV masonry motherfuckers had all this time to plan their messaging, and of course 19 and pretty much to the day of the crime, murder. So are they telling us something? So we'll keep April 19. We'll highlight it because they've used that same exact day 2 years later, the MTV bunch, right? Freemason motherfuckers. Alright, so now I just want to also explain something. So this is when April 21 is when the first announcement via phone call came out that there was a problem. 9:43 a.m. on April 21. Now, given other previous case histories like the 2 I mentioned up front, Jimmy, Kurt Cobain's just popped his face. So when I'm mentioning these people's names, an image comes to my right, and I feel them, right? There's a energy is quite intense. There's I worked on a channel, I'll tell the story another time, that the schedule was impossible to edit. The time frame was impossible. We were editing documentaries. Just a short story quickly. There was literally no time to think. And while I was editing, I was given the next image, the next shot I must use in the sequence of the cut. It was amazing. And while I was fetching it, putting it on the timeline, cutting it up, cleaning it up, I was shown the next image. It was insane. Now, I wanted to say the reason why I'm starting way back here is because in these cases, it's usually the lead up rather than after. I mean, we will look at after within the 369, but it's the build up usually is where we're looking for a hook. Where does it all begin? So we'll do this as a proper case study. So April 16, already we've got lots of emotional issues going on here. 20, outcome 2, hidden emotions, trauma even. Outwardly, 20, outcome 2, emotions. We saw this recently. Lots of outward emotions going on here. Instability, imbalance. 11-2 brings around 50-50 stuff. Yes, no, maybe. Let's see what's going on. We'll go deeper once we get an overview, but just the initial sense. And we're in a 9 here, Alright, so we've got a hidden 21-3. So that's already problematic, 21-3 hidden, given the context of and knowing how the MTV people work. 30, outcome 3. Here's a chemical bomb here, 30, outcome 3. Now, we can all agree that fentanyl, as they put it, I mean, that can kill you with just we've seen police go down with that. It will kill you within seconds. Here's the 30, outcome 3. So I'm just going to tag that for now. Or am I seeing? No, that is right. 21 plus the 9, yeah. 12 plus the 9. Sorry, the kids have returned from next door. All right. And then we've got a 12-3 wraparound. So anomalous just is the 30, outcome 3, and I'll tag the 21-3 as suspicious, because what or who has been held against their will. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it can mean other things, but given the fact that these guys don't move around without their handlers, 16-7. So here's 16-7 in the 72 scan of the announcement, 16-7. So there are handlers around, whether we know it or not. Even their friends are fucking handlers, yeah, bro. 31-4. So we've got a corpse here, ladies and gentlemen. 31-4. We've got a corpse here, 31-4. Now, I did read briefly, that it was the day before the incident, which probably would have made it here, April 20. He was at a concert briefly, or at a concert of other friends. Not his, but friends. So let's just see how that works. The music industry, helping the music industry. Beg your pardon, 22-4. It's like the Jimi Hendrix, he's just reminded me. He supposedly, according to the current narrative, was out and about, even party hopping, and then going there, everywhere, right? Yeah, so there must have been witnesses. There must have been people that can account for his whereabouts, whether they got their payola or not. By the way, being a music show, I'll give you some music information on probably an upcoming show, and I'm looking at the Liam Payne situation with One Direction. I've gone down the rabbit hole, pretty much, and I believe I found the devil. The gentleman that started, MCA, Music Corporation of America, I've had a look at his numbers, and they are reflected in One Direction's numbers as well. 33-6, 15-6, motherfucker. The devil. And he is the one, according to narrative, that started this whole "we will kill you" or death contracts, right? All right, back here. 31-4. 22-4, 13-4. So here's an issue. 31-4, the way I'm seeing it, and we'll get an overview. Corpse, 31-4. 22-4, shit's hit the fan. What is going to be the plan of action? How are we going to tell the story? How's the narrative? Kurt Cobain popping in. Same as him. Happens 2 or 3 days before. They've got to work out a plan first, how they tell the story to the world, right? That's why I don't start there. I want to see how we get there. We know what's waiting for us, right? And I think we just passed it. Because here's a chemical bomb, eh? If we're talking chemicals, 30 outcome 3 is a chemical bomb. Now that 21-3 is out in the open, seems all friendly. 12-3 seems okay. Come midnight, holy shit, I didn't see that. Come midnight, look at all these nines, ladies and gentlemen. Is this when, now this wouldn't have been when he had that initial attack during that tour, and then they had to quickly stop the plane somewhere else. Because this is sometime afterwards, I believe. Just let me know. But look here, 18-9. When the clock struck, however you say it, from midnight to sunrise, we've got an 18-9 in play here. Murder. And we have these 999s. Murder. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, look here, 16-7. 16-7. All the nines. Starting to see something. We may need to go back a bit here. So the next day would be 15-6 here. So that's actually the drug. 15-6 is the drug. 6 outcome. So 1 with, let me just write it here. Let me just do the next day. We've got evidence of it's drug, but it's poison. How are we going to do this? It's a drug. It's a narcotic, illegal drug, but with an outcome 6, which means poisonous. He's not exactly going to have a good time with it. So 15, 6. We'll go, look, hidden, 19, 10, 1, ladies and gentlemen, hidden. Actually, this will be open. So these guys are openly discussing. Okay, the reason why it's open is it can't be hidden 19, 10, 1. You can't have hidden 19, 10, 1, 10, 1. It's almost like a duplication. I hope that makes sense. We'll go deep in the next coming book. 28, 10, 1, 19. This is all operational numbers, eh? So 15, 6 comes into play. 10, 1, 10, 1. Now we're going to follow the poison. 6. 6 is the poison. 6. And in fact, this poison my chest is closed up instantly there for a sec. Excuse me. Oh, the 16-7 brings around asphyxiation. Yo. Oh. So what's happening here? What's happening here is the drug becomes poison and attacks the lungs. 7 is lungs. This is what it's going to do. That's what's going to happen. So, you see, this is what we saw in Janis Joplin. (11:2). You see, this is the same, if I remember correctly, same sequence of events with Janis Joplin, where there's an exchange made, there's an inside person, motherfucker, excuse me, there's an exchange that happens, there's an inside person that brings the shit in. Knowingly. This is what we'll refer to as the handlers playing the role when we need them. There's an 18-9 year, ladies and gentlemen. That's why when I read that he was at a concert, for someone that's not feeling well, so here we have it, 18-9, all the 9s, 13-4. With an outcome 31-4. Here's the day here. This for me is the crime scene here. I'm not even going to look at all the other numbers. Bullshit. The music industry. Yo, bring all your witnesses. Nice payolas there. And when they get out, they also get some payolas there, the brothers, eh? So here we've got it, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion. Something goes down here. 19-10-1 operation kicks in. Let's look at it. It's hilarious. Let's humor ourselves. 19-4 gives us the 23-5. So yeah, now we have the hidden community. Oh, look here, ladies and gentlemen. 14-5 foul play in the game. 32.5. Ooh. How often do we see 32.5? Breaking of the grouping community. Showing me X. Showing me X. 32.5 is breaking of the community. 23.5. Here's Prince's numbers. 23.5 is now breaking of that community. So, who's passed, by the way? 31.4, look here. 23.5. If we look at it that way. 23.5, who's here? 23.5. Your birth year is a very strong, powerful number. 14.5, we've got foul play. So the passing happens, unfortunately, in my opinion, here. The crew arrive here, whatever that may look like, or the operation kicks into place. Let's carry on. 23.5. Who does it impact? 9, the open. Jimmy, I beg your pardon, Prince. 14.5. 5. We got problems here. Everything around him leading up. Look here, all operational. April 15, all operational. 16.7, so on one hand we can say now the handler is in play. There's an exchange of narcotics, each to their own. Each to their own. Don't make it anyone else's problem. Don't give it to kids. So what does he get? Oh, there's a nice meeting. But yeah, same with Janis Joplin. 30, outcome 3, toxic chemicals. However it went down, comes home after whatever, April 18th. Hey, remember we bought that stash. Let's try some of that stash. Didn't end very well. And because there's so many transactional numbers around, I believe, and of course we got the 14.5 in play, of course. It's inside job, modus operandi reflected in other big musicians. I see who was the last. Was Universal the last label for Prince? According to Wikipedia, they've got Universal as last. But anyway, Universal is also involved with Liam, and if I'm not mistaken, and was it MCA effectively owns Universal, or there's a whole big business deal around there. I'll just reconfirm when I do the episode. The music industry. So all bullshit. Here is the sequence of events. Here's your 72-hour crime scene, in my opinion. So let's just imagine for a minute. We've got an 18-9, typically in a crime scene is murder. We've got all of these nines, which in a crime scene is murder. We got 13-4, which speaks to you about deaths and endings. 22-4, on an anatomical or biological level, 22-4 speaks about the processes the body uses to keep us alive, right? But now 31.4 speaks about that process not working anymore. Therefore, we just have flesh and bone, and nothing is working. Hence, so I see we've got a dreaded number on the next day here. Huh? All is revealed. So we technically going plus. This is the second day after the crime. 8, 9. So, okay, so let's say for one moment, if he bought a bad batch, that's just pinged on me now, huh? Because someone's asking. Let's say for argument's sake he buys a bad batch. It happens. He snorts it, however he consumes it, and dies. Causes a ruckus with all his people around him. Let's say for argument's sake one possibility. Then why didn't they trace back, if it was a bad batch, and this report up here says, oh, he had fentanyl. Well, if you take fentanyl, you're going to die, type thing, right? If it was a bad batch, why didn't they trace it? Or did they? Was there an investigation as to the source of the chemicals? I believe I read something to the fact that nothing concrete. Where did that batch come from? They mentioned 2 locations. But I believe we're about to discover why that theory is not going to hold. That he bought a bad batch. Let's see. Because there's always familiar people at the crime scene of all these big musicians. And by the way, here's the devil's number that I was talking about. So look here, 33.6.15.66. I spoke about the guy that created MCA, Jules Stein. I'm going to include him in the next episode with Liam. But how interesting, he has a 33.6.15.6, exactly like that guy. What is going on here? Selling the souls to the devil, are you? Shame, man. You know, what these guys don't realize, just saying, as much as they believe in their eternal damnation and life beyond damnation, etc., there's going to be a price to pay. 4 plus 21, 3, 8, 9, 25, 7, 9, 34, 7. See, higher ups involved here. Oh, look here, ladies and gentlemen, 16.7. 16.7 in the house. This was dare I say, a takedown, assassination, ladies and gentlemen. 16.7 in the house. (16.7), 72 hours around the event. If we start getting a lot of ping pongs, then there is pong in the air. And here's a big pong, 33.6. Are we ever surprised these days? What I am surprised about is this 33.6.15.6. It's the same numbers we find in the One Direction formation band, their new release numbers. And then when I started backtracking, a little birdie gave me a tip video to watch. And the Jules Stein, however you want to pronounce his godforsaken name, has the devil numbers 33, 6, 15, 6, 6. The so-called devil numbers, right? It's only the demons and the humans who have intermingled. Shame, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a puppet show, yeah. I'm going to say April 18. I know it conflicts Wikipedia and the narrative. He was at some concert the day before, or what. I don't know. Lookalikes, dress up. Bring in the stand-in. Let them run around town. Here's even a number for a fake human. 15-6 for a forgery, like Kate when she appeared at Wimbledon. The forgery made a grand appearance in front of the entire world, but proceeded with her queenly wave and sat down. Oh my gosh, they're clapping for me, like nothing ever happened in the world. Oh, by the way, you've been missing for 8 months. Did your doppelganger or your fucking clone tell you? But this version walks into the middle of the arena and waves and smiles with her brand new teeth after all that chemo. The royal family hand out dentures before large engagements and wigs. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are confronted by a familiar sequence of numbers. The day before gives us the 18-9. Case closed gives us an 18-9. Murder. 18-9. See, they're fucking with us. Check here. They're giving us this sequence here. They're giving us that sequence for the 72-hour of the case closed matches the 72-hour of the crime. Pretty much, I give or take 12 hours, I would imagine. So 18-9 is the announcement. So we technically 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got a 2. It will be a 2-year, but this block will all be the same. 18, 9, 4, 22, 4, 13, 4. And the 6 here does speak about the poison. So let's also then surmise for one moment, right? So this is now the 72-hour that's reflected by this date here, because it's exactly the same. I will say this is a little bit more inventive versus what we're seeing currently. That's why I say Simon Cowell, the devil, is an old school sloth. Very tacky. At least here there's a bit of sophistication, even though it's not exactly doesn't end well. But anyway, we're going to look at Liam carrying on, because the devil that started the whole thing has the 33, 6, 15, 6, but we'll get there. But unfortunately, yeah, we have Prince. And I've been, I got a hint or tip from a community member. I've been watching some material. The music industry, as we know it, is I don't even know if the words I want to use are fitting. It is a cesspool, murderous, greed, rotten cesspool of lifeless and soulless cowards. And unfortunately, and we see it here as well, is children are in the middle of all of this, running to Hollywood, running to Universal Music, running to all those big companies out there. And we find the pile of homeless people at the doors of big Hollywood studios and music producers, because it's all bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't comply, you become one of the homeless. If you don't comply, you become one of the dead. And if you don't comply, you never even release a single. The people that have made it have had to deliver on their goods. And the death contract persists today.